Hello everybody and welcome to the next episode of What If Sonic Died. This is a series where we take a look at the events of the main games and how they may have played out differently if Sonic the Hedgehog had died during the ending of Sonic Adventure 2 instead of Shadow and as a result lost his memories. Last time we saw Metal Sonic and Cream pair up as they go to find Amy Rose, but she just learned that Sonic was in fact still alive. Before we find out how that plays out, if you've been enjoying this series so far, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and lets me know you're enjoying my work. But also, feel free to share the video around to those who may be interested. Okay, let's see how this goes. Metal Sonic and Cream the Rabbit travel towards Central City. Along the way, the young girl informs Metal about what she does on her day-to-day basis. It's a one-sided conversation, as comes with the territory when talking to the speechless robot, but he listens all the same. And eventually they find their way at the apartment complex to where Amy is residing. Once they're at the door, Cream gives a polite knock, but there isn't a response. The two of them look at one another before Cream knocks again, saying, "Hello?" They hear footsteps get closer to the door as it slowly creaks open, to see a rather grumpy looking pink hedgehog. Who is it? It's me! Amy's eyes widen a bit. Oh, Cream! What are you doing here? We were going to spend a day together, remember? I forgot all about that. I'm so sorry, Cream. Are you okay? I'm just going through a lot right now, but I'm always happy to see you. And she gives Cream a nice hug, looking up to see Metal afterwards. And it's good to see you again as well, Metal. I take it that means you and Shadow's mission was a success? Metal Sonic nods his head. Good. Now, speaking of Shadow, I got a lot of things to talk with you about. Come inside, both of you. And they enter Amy's room, closing the door behind them. Cream looks around Amy's room, noticing it's more messy than typical. Her usual bulletin board of criminals and such activities has been scattered all around, with multiple pictures of Rouge and newspaper articles about sightings and theories of her activities, compared to the larger variety of crime it usually lists. She looks to her friend and asks, "What's bothering you, Amy?" "Oh, Cream, would you believe it? Sonic's alive!" Cream seems a bit uncertain at this. "Amy, Sonic is..." "No, Cream, I mean it! He's alive! I was working with the Chaotix and they told me all about it. And that Shadow knows as well." And she looks towards Metal. "Did he tell you anything about Sonic?" Metal Sonic shakes his head. "Figures." And Amy slumps down onto a chair. "I can't believe it's been under my nose this whole time. No wonder the thieves couldn't be traced. Sonic's back, but he's working as a criminal. What's going on?" Cream and Amy engage in an extended conversation, catching up whilst she divulges everything she learned about Sonic's current state of amnesia and new alliance with less than respectable people. During this time, Metal Sonic's occupied himself by standing by the window and observing the city, whilst Amy and Cream are sat down drinking tea. Eventually, their conversation hits a head point though. "I need to do something about this." "But Amy, what can you do?" "I've made it my mission to do the right thing for people, and this is the right thing to do for Sonic." And she gets up, putting her teacup down. "I'm gonna go over to Club Rouge and sort this all out." "Are you sure?" "More sure than I've been in a long time, Cream. I gotta do this for Sonic." Metal Sonic then approaches and looks at Amy in the eyes. "You want to come too? Oh, that's sweet. But I can do this on my own." Metal Sonic doesn't move. Alright. You can come along then." Cream hops to her feet. "Count me in too. And cheese." "Cream, I can't bring you there. Club Rouge is in the bad part of town." "Nuh-uh. We were going to spend the day together, so I'll stick with you." "Alright, Cream. Thanks, everyone. It means a lot. Now let's go and get Sonic." And the three of them leave her apartment, heading down to the city level and towards the area of which Club Rouge occupies. On their way, they get a couple glances from the shady individuals minding their own business. Cream looks over her shoulder. I don't like the looks of this place. Don't worry, Cream. Stick with us and you'll be fine. Anyway, we're here now. They enter the decorated Club Rouge building. The inside is, as usual, dimly lit with a very luxurious vibe as people chat, drink, or gamble. Amy spots Rouge the Bat in the distance on the lip of a stage talking to some patrons. There she is. Let's go. And she heads in that direction. But from the reception, a voice calls out, Excuse me, little miss, but I don't believe you have an appointment here today. I don't want to hear it. And she keeps stomping by. Wait there! But her pleas fall on deaf ears as the three of them walk past. Rouge cocks an eyebrow as she notices Amy approach and ends her conversation. Oh, hello there, Amy. I wasn't expecting to see you around here. Aren't you busy cleaning up the streets or something of that effect? Amy scowls and points her hand towards Rouge, summoning her Pico Pico hammer in a poof of air. Don't play nice with me. I know you're up to no good. Hand over Sonic! Well, that hardly ranks amongst the most pleasant introductions I've received. So you've heard about Sonic, have you? I suppose that's not surprising coming from you of all people. But what makes you think he wants anything to do with you to begin with? Even back on the Ark, I could tell you were just a tag-along. That's it! Amy leaps forward with her hammer and slams it down onto the floor, splintering some wooden planks as Rouge hops backwards, gliding down with her wings onto the center of a stage. Amy then hops up beside her, hammer ready. Such a tantrum you're throwing. You must be used to getting what you want by complaining. But that's not how it's going to work here, little girl. This is Club Rouge. You're in my world now. And the real world doesn't play by such childish logic. Like I would ever listen to what a thief like you has to say. Amy swings her hammer around past her head straight towards Rouge, but she leans out of the way and then kicks Amy in the chest with the heel of her boot, shunting her back. Ugh! As she's recovering, Rouge glides forward and slams both her fists into Amy, knocking her back off the stage. She lands onto a cushy sofa, cushioning her fall. As she looks back up at Rouge, smiling down upon her. Miss your step? Amy gets back up to continue the fight. And as their battle rages on, the people currently in Club Rouge can't help but feel a bit excited themselves. One man turns to another. You know, Phil, I always thought your face was rather stupid. What? Oh! And they start breaking out into a brawl of their own. People slamming bottles into other people's heads, knocking chairs out, or just slapping one another. Cream tries to stay out of the way as much as she can, but most of the people here are far taller than she is. And eventually someone gets hit across the face and starts falling towards the ground right on top of where Cream currently stands. Metal Sonic then quickly intercedes, catching the person and throwing them to the side. He looks to Cream. Come on, Cheese, let's get out of here. And the two of them fly up high towards the ceiling where no one else can reach them. Back on stage, Amy's about to bring her hammer down upon Rouge again, but a gust of wind gives her pause, as standing now before her, besides Rouge, is Sonic. Rouge relaxes a bit as the blue blur speaks to her. I heard all the commotion going on. What's the situation, Rouge? Nothing serious. Just a little girl who's come to where she wasn't invited. You sure are popular with everybody, aren't you? Would I be as fun to stay with if I wasn't? Suppose not. But Amy can't believe her eyes. Sonic, it's really you. You're real. Her eyes watering once again as she views her longtime hero. I can't believe I found you. You have no idea how... Let me guess, Sonic interrupts her. I used to know you and we were great friends and you've been missing me or something like that. Look, I've gone through this so many times in the recent days, it's getting really old really quick. So let's just skip all that. My name's Sonic the Hedgehog and I don't think we've met. But I would appreciate it if you weren't trying to attack my friends. What? Amy feels as if her world has shattered beneath her feet once again. She was warned that Sonic the Hedgehog had amnesia, but it's one thing to hear about it, and it's another thing to see the love of your life before you completely dismissive of you. And not only dismissive, but he's speaking in defense of the vile Rouge the Bat smirking behind him. This is outrageous. This is not just, and Amy is mad. That's it! I'm gonna... But Sonic dashes between her and Rouge again. I don't think you listened to me the first time, lady. Sonic, why can't you remember me? Why aren't you... I said I've been through this. I'm not trying to be rude, but I am my own person, you know. Maybe just don't cling to the past so much. Shouldn't you have moved on by now? Just get out of my way! And Amy swings her hammer towards Sonic. But before anything can happen afterwards, a large metallic arm gets between them, blocking the hammer. Hands off the hedgehog. Omega stands before, towering over Amy, preparing to bring his free hand down upon her. But before he gets the chance, he's tackled by the full boosting of Metal Sonic. The robots crash into a far wine cabinet, shattering the glass as the alcoholic liquid trickles down Omega's frame. He observes his assailant. Inferior model, step aside, and with one giant arm bashes Metal off of him into the wall and starts heading back towards the others. But before he can, Metal Sonic grabs Omega's arm, pulls it back, and then kicks the giant in the face. You have just authorized your destruction. Omega switches out one of his arms to a drill and punches it towards the blue robot, diving to the side as it crashes into the wall, creating a large hole. Omega's quick to respond though, turning his torso around so that he's facing backwards, grabbing Metal Sonic, and then spinning back to his proper position, slamming the robot into the wall. Metal Sonic starts spinning in Omega's grip, but it's not enough to break free. So he then activates the black shield, forcing the robot's hands apart. Omega quickly swaps one of his claws for a minigun and points it towards Metal Sonic, but before he can fire, Rouge calls out, "Wait! This is still my establishment! No weapons!" Omega pauses, glancing at Rouge, and then swaps his arms back to his claws, popping them out as they glint, fully sharpened. Safety mode engaged, and starts slashing away at Metal Sonic's shield, sparking with each strike as the robot shunted further and further back into the wall. I will rend this shield to pieces, but it is nothing compared to the destruction I will perform on you. A couple of the regular people, seeing the giant war machine of Omega going crazy on another robot in the wall, decide this fight has left their field of capability and start heading out, though some of the less cognitively present members continue to brawl in their own areas of the room. Amy, still trying to confront Rouge, is being blocked by Sonic the Hedgehog. Just stop being so stupid! I'm not the one looking for a fight. But since you won't back down, don't expect me to either. Sonic spin dashes towards Amy, and she smashes her Pico Hammer against him, bouncing him back like a baseball bat. But he's quick to rebound, forcing her to raise her hammer above her head and guard against his attack. Whilst most people are on their way out, a tall metallic figure makes his way through the entrance of Club Rouge and scans the interior. Target located. Omega is picking up the black shield of Metal Sonic above his head. I will break you. But then a iron knuckle crashes into his side, causing him to drop Metal and fall onto the floor. Metal Sonic deactivates his black shield and looks towards his savior? Looking back down at him is a red robot with similar design to Omega. You will come with me. Master Robotnik requires your services. Omega gets back to his feet. E-Series robot detected. The new machine rotates its head only to face Omega. Designation Chaos Gamma. E123 Omega. After sharing a silent look, the two of them face each other for real and stance into a battle position. Omega lunges and delivers a strong uppercut towards Gamma, who blocks with his own metallic arm. The force of the impact rings true. Surely an organic being would have been sent flying, but Omega and Gamma are machines built for war. Omega continues his assault, swiping again with his free arm towards Chaos Gamma, who once again blocks the attack and then delivers his own counter, thrusting an arm forward with his hand, extending it to produce an electric current that shocks Omega down to his very core. Yet he's managed to resist on. Struggling against a surge of electricity, he manages to pry his hands onto Chaos Gamma and smash the electric claw, breaking it off and throwing it beside him. He then throws his body weight against Gamma, knocking the robot back. But Chaos Gamma simply replaces the broken electric hand with a drill and charges back towards Omega, pushing into him, drilling against the surface of his metal body. Omega manages to jab his claw between the rotating drill, short-circuiting it and halting the attack. Omega then jabs Gamma with his claw in the chest, embedding into it slightly, before turning around towards the nearest wall. Let's take this outside so we can fight like real robots. He then activates his thrusters and boosts the two of them outside into the alleyway, breaking the brick wall that contained them within Club Rouge. With this, the sounds of screaming can be heard as people realise this fight's gotten out of hand, but their screams are not the only thing. With the wall now opened from the fight between Omega and Gamma, the sound of police sirens drawing near echoes in through the club. Back on stage, where Sonic and Amy continue to have a standoff, Rouge comments, "I'd love to stay and watch, but it seems things are getting a bit too heated for me. It's time we made ourselves scarce." And she begins to fly away. Amy, still defending from Sonic, looks towards Metal. "Metal! Don't let her get away!" In an instant, he turns his attention towards the Bat, engages his thrusters, and boosts after her as she begins flying. But before he catches her, he gets hit by a homing attack from Sonic the Hedgehog. Metal crashes back down onto the stage, and Sonic lands in front of him as he picks himself up. "I don't think so, pal. Didn't you get enough of a thrashing last time? And to think you were calling yourself the real Sonic. Says the cheap knockoff. Such a faker." Metal Sonic doesn't recall of this encounter, and yet despite that, his internal logic can't help but continue to raise the priority of his desire to defeat Sonic the Hedgehog. The blue blur leaps into action, trying to kick Metal Sonic in the head. The Metal Hedgehog blocks the attack with his wrist, but Sonic keeps striking with rapid speed to the point where he's not even falling back to the ground. He ends it by delivering an over-the-head heel kick down onto Metal, breaking his guard and causing him to stumble. Seeing an opening, Sonic lands to the floor and jabs straight into the chest of Metal Sonic, pushing him back. But, activating his thruster, Metal returns, and using what he observed from Omega, starts slashing wildly with his own claws. Back outside, the two red robots are engaged in deadly combat. Chaos Gamma has equipped himself with a grenade launcher, firing disc-shaped explosives down the alley. There's not a lot of room to maneuver past them, and as they detonate, even more brickwork starts collapsing in down upon Omega. But he manages to shrug off the damage, pushing bricks off of him as he leaps into the air and points his machine gun arm towards Gamma. Opening fire at him, Chaos Gamma has little recourse, his body shaking repeatedly as it's rattled with bullets. Time and time again, Omega lands to the ground and continues firing as he approaches. Chaos Gamma tries to fire a ball of electricity, but Omega simply turns his free hand into a cannon, absorbing the shot and firing it back, breaking off Chaos Gamma's leg and causing him to fall to the floor. Standing above him now, gun arm still smoking, Omega transforms it into a claw and jabs it into the chest of Chaos Gamma, lifting him up by it as he looks at him eye to eye. "I am the superior E-Series robot." And the lights fade from Chaos Gamma's eye as Omega drops the body in front of him. Back inside Club Rouge, policemen have poured in through the entrance, pointing their weapons at anyone still inside. "Freeze! You're under arrest!" Rouge is already long gone by now, and seeing the police, Sonic bolts away. "I gotta get out of here!" Leaving Amy and Metal to surrender to the police force. Dashing through the opening in the wall, Sonic finds Omega in the alleyway. "Hey, we gotta go, buddy!" "Affirmative." And activating his thruster, the two of them escape the scene as well. Amy looks pleadingly at the police. "Wait, you don't understand. You're letting the criminals get away." Amy sighs as she grips the bars of her cell. Shadow stands on the other side, arms crossed, looking in to see Amy and Metal Sonic waiting out their sentence. So behind him on some visitors' chairs are Cream and Cheese happily sharing an ice cream. So let me get this straight. You guys went over to Club Rouge, tore the place up, and all looking for Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey, don't lecture me. I already explained my case to you. And don't you think you might have some part in this? Why didn't you tell me about Sonic to begin with? That was important to me. I was concerned you might have an extreme reaction. And based on the circumstances you find yourselves in now, I would say my caution was well founded. Amy concedes that point. Well, I've really made a mess out of this. Regardless, you won't be there much longer. I've organised your release, so you won't be serving any time. You organised my release? Since when did you negotiate? I don't. But the ultimate life form doesn't need to negotiate. Besides, it seems a lot of the people around here have heard about what I've been doing. Thanks, Shadow. Don't mention it. But let's just not forget, it was with you Metal ended in prison, not I. Ugh. A police officer comes over to unlock their cell, and the four of them then leave, stepping back outside into Central City. Well, what do we do now? I think it's time we headed back to Tails' workshop. We need to deal with Eggman. If we give him too much time, he'll just create a new plan. And Tails has an idea just how to get it done. Although, if you want to see what Tails' plan may be, you'll need to tune in next time, because that is the end of this video. The next time we return to this story, it should be the conclusion of the current arc we've been experiencing, so you don't want to miss it. I hope you've been enjoying this series so far. If you have, please leave a like, comment and subscribe down below. And don't forget to share the video around to those you may be interested if you want to help out the video. Thank you for watching this all the way to the end. It means a lot and it does help out the channel. I hope you have a great day and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor signing off.